to this computer. There we go. All right, so everybody wave to Murray. We started the recording. All these beautiful faces of all of our friends who are using Experientify or thinking about using Experientify. And we love our community. You guys are absolutely the best. Okay, so let me know in the chat if you are new to Experientify, because it's just super nice to know. Yes, you can ask questions, Lorraine. Karina or Karina, welcome. You came to the right place.
Thank
Heather
you.
hasn't started setting one up yet. Melissa, wave. Cool. Bill's new, Ron's new. Dr. Grayson is building a course now. Dr. Ernest Johnson, PhD, is also new. Mary Jo's still setting hers up, great. Lorraine's in EPM. We've been to office hours, great. Nancy, I feel like I know your name. Great, so a lot of new people, a little bit of a mix. Excuse me, Nancy, I probably have seen you in EPM. Coach is back. Hey, Coach D, what's up? Good to see you. All righty, so again, I'm gonna apologize for sharing the whole thing of my keynote here, but if I put it full screen, strange things happen and Keynote tries to take over both of my screens and then I don't get to see your lovely faces and my chats. Diane wants to put up her course enough to put a link on your sales page. Yes. How do we want you to ask questions? If you could wait till the end, we will handle questions at the end. I see them when they come through, but sometimes they distract me and I get off topic. And then sometimes I end up trying to go back for them at the very end, because if we have a really active chat, it can get a little crazy. So on to our starter question, so that we're all like focused on what's working. I would love to see in the chat what is working. Tell me something that you've either accomplished since purchasing or doing a trial of Experientify, or being in EPM, or being on the workshop, or I don't know if your kids are behaving today. That would be okay too. Thank you, Denise. And I think you've been to a couple of workshops. Kathy, you're not behind. You're right where you need to be. It always feels that way at this part of EPM, huh, Denise? Yeah. Writing content is easy to upload videos. Deciding if you're going to load your course in Experientify. Set up your payments. Yay. Ran a mediation challenge. Ooh, 88 participants is a good validation. Just launched your program today. So yay for that. Addicted to shiny objects. Absolutely. I know this well. Anybody else have some wins to share? Give it just a minute more. And you know, I have a theory, Cynthia, about shiny objects, like especially when we're at a point that's really hard. Shiny objects are very attractive because we can talk ourselves into why we need to go and do this other thing. I read a super interesting that was talking about how we get in our own way, and that's one of the reasons that we like to use these really plausible ideas to take ourselves out of action. Is like, oh, I just need this other certification. Oh, I just need another degree, or oh, I just need this extra extra program or this extra piece, and then I'll be ready. And it's a good distraction, and it sounds really plausible. Okay, so I just wanted to play with this one. If you guys saw what Murray posted in the Facebook groups and the email that he sent out, I think if you're coming from EPM especially, a lot of people are really, this is the part where it starts to be a little bit of a grind and you start to wonder if you're going to make it to the end of mission accomplished. And so it's a good time to try to remind everybody that you know, your timing is going to be your timing, and we're here to support you, and it's like that for everybody. So, you know, kind of going back to the experience formula, like I'm trying to normalize some challenges here for you, because it's definitely, I think, every cycle of in that same spot right about now. So I wanted to ask you this question, to answer this question for yourself. I could move forward if. Loretta, yes, we will answer questions at the end. And Craig, woo, very cool. So for you guys to answer in the chat, I could move forward if the tech didn't take you down. Anybody else? Is anybody feeling stuck, or am I just like projecting this? You could understand the help section. Donna, please send us an email at support@experiencify.com. If I had more time, if I stay with it this week. Melissa is moving forward. More time and money. Yes, I understand. I didn't need to sleep. Tech hurdles. My tech pieces fit together. If you had your content finished up, getting my course online, reconnecting and scheduling time to take on tasks. If I had a full team to help me, yep. Bridget, I'm super glad that you're in a good spot. And Sylvia, I'm glad that you're acknowledging that you are moving forward. Yeah, so when I took EPM, for those of you who are in there, yeah, so I have 2 teenagers, and well, they're 2 now. I had just had one that just turned 13, so send advice, maybe chocolate, something like that, because I have my 13-year-old's a girl. And I had a full-time job and a lot of responsibilities, so I was there too. It's a lot to create a good course or experience product, but I assume most of you are creating courses because you're here on Experience by Call. More time, fewer non-commitments. Yep. Yeah, time is definitely a resource that's in short supply. So my question, though, that I like to, the game I like to play with myself is, what can you do? So with the limitations that you have, if you could think of something that you can do that'll keep you moving forward, that you could either, you know, simplify, ask someone to pitch in and help, so you could do this, so you could, you know, for a limited amount of time, maybe something that you could splurge on a little bit so that you could buy back some of your time. Nancy, I always wait till the last minute. Got it. Oh, Kathy, thank you. Yeah, focus is an interesting one. discovered the I like the Pomodoro thing, where you set your timer for 20 minutes and just give yourself one thing to do for 20 minutes. Because I can usually manage to make myself focus for about that long. So, yeah. Abraham Hicks segment intending, super interesting. Great, yep, we'll get to questions. After you complete a recent online coaching, cool. Alrighty, so yeah, I just want to put that, possibility and thought in front of you, because I think sometimes, when you start getting kind of in that stuck space, it's a useful question to ask yourself. But instead of, focusing on the things that you can't do right now, like what can I do? I hope that's helpful to you. And I just like having a community forum where we can kind of share both the wins and the feelings too. So, okay, as Murray said, one of the things that might help some of you for where you're at right now, and I did see the question about the community feature, and it's on the roadmap, and I'm sure there will be an announcement when it's ready. That's not an issue I can solve in this call. So moving on to what is a minimum viable product, and why are we talking about it? So it's a concept I've come across a lot because I've now worked for 3. I'm gonna add this in to the chat for everyone. It's a good article that I stole this cute little image from. 3 software companies so far, and a minimum viable product means that when you take something new to market, you don't spend months or years developing it to the full potential that it could be. You put something out there that is reasonably representative, that you think is really at the core of what's valuable about it, and then you check it out and see how it goes over with people. And I think that one of the reasons that Murray wanted me to address this is that when you start thinking about all the possibilities, especially if you're an EPM, you kind of want to lead with your money shot, your best idea, and get it out there into the world, because you're kind of in this place where you're both hoping everybody sees the brilliance of it, and then you're also kind of afraid because if people don't see it and that was your best thing, you're kind of in a bad place there. And so one of the nice things about kind of scaling down to a minimum viable product is that it feels a lot more doable for starters, and you give yourself time to iterate forward. And it doesn't even have to be like your absolute best idea. It could be a fraction of your best idea, and you get to see if it's viable. And by viable can be a number of different things. It can be, whether your messaging is viable, whether you're talking to the right people, whether the promise of it is getting the results that you're intending to get. If you know, so you've been coaching people one-on-one and it was a viable idea one-on-one, you can take a look at whether it's viable in a one to a few or one to many type of setting. So you can also check out whether your price point is viable. And then product just means that there is actually a product. You end up turning out something that is actually out there in the world, instead of getting kind of stuck in all the different great ideas that you have and can think about. So Any thoughts or responses on the idea of minimum viable product? Has anybody heard this before? This is new. Have any personal responses to it? We're up to 52 people. Super cool. Microsoft has made it work. Does this dumb it down? No, absolutely not. No, it means don't overwhelm yourself. And I'll give you an example. So when I was going through EPM, so what I do is teach people how to make courses that get the specific results. It is kind of like a beta version. And so, of course, the idea that I came up with was this whole thing about all the things about how to create a course. And for me, that's like the pre-work, pre-assessment, performance plans, how to do lessons in a way that engages people, how to create early easy wins, how to wrap up the experience, and how to create successively more difficult challenges for people, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, that's really kind of a lot. And I was overwhelming myself actually with it. So I scaled it back to a 2-week class where I just taught people how to do lessons. And that was something that I felt so solid about. Like, I know I can do this and it doesn't terrify me to put this out in front of people. And so that kind of allowed me to jump over that hurdle. And Denise was in that class actually. So I got to meet cool people because of it too. So yeah, that's what it means, is just scale it down and figure out what's really at the core and the essence of what it is that you think is a good place to start with the people either that you have or you want to get in front of. It's counterintuitive for wanting to put out the best imaginable. I absolutely understand that. You want to lead with what you think is really going to wow everybody. I totally get that. Yeah, Loretta, I really like your comments. Ed Dale is your EPM coach, lucky you. Cynthia, thank you. I'm glad. Yes, you have time to tweak it. And the other thing is, so if I'd started with my everything course, right, and something didn't work and people didn't get the results, it would be really hard to figure out which piece of it. Because I would have put in all the things, right? And when you can start with that minimum viable product, like I got to see how people really related to what I teach about lessons. And they got some super feedback and have iterated forward from that. So wow them in miniature. I love that. Can you just have a landing page? It really will. Yeah, Denise, if you guys look at the link that I put in there, which I'm actually going to put in again, that's one of the things they say is the other thing is that I find too, like if you put your heart and soul into something, you are a little less open to change because you love it. Like you're so invested in it, it's really hard to get any criticism about it too. Yeah, I like wild them in miniature too. Yeah. So, okay, that's our little bit of message for this evening. It is harder to kill your darlings. I was thinking about that exactly when I was getting ready for meeting with you all tonight. Okay, so any more? We're gonna there's any last thoughts about the minimum viable product or how it relates to you. I will look in the chat for that, and otherwise we will kind of scoot on. But, minor surgery works well. I like that. Donna, I'd be super interested in which XP instructions that you have been reading that are not clear, because that is part of what I'm going to be doing. And there's also a replay of the last workshop that we did. And it also has a guide that goes along with it. So you might take a look at the guide, and if that seems more clear to you, then it would be super helpful if you would let me know. So Laura@experienceby.com. And there's no E in Experience By. Put your darlings to sleep. You can wake them up later when the time is right. I love that. How long should we work with MVP, or how many launches should we have with MVP until we develop the full program? Ooh, that's a good question. So once it's validated, I think then, it's a choice that you have to take the next biggest chunk, or, if you're feeling really confident to tackle like the whole enchilada. I think, personally what I did was I went on to the next chunk and tested that out with people. I think, it's helpful to have that chance to validate each of the components for the reasons that we talked about, so that you get feedback specific to it. Jocelyn, where can you find the replays? Rachel, would you be able to pop that link?
Yeah, I'll pop that in the chat right now.
Tammy, I'm sorry to hear that. If we can help you, let us know. Okay. So hopefully some of that was useful to you guys who are feeling stuck. I know some of you are new, so you haven't had a chance to get stuck yet, but it's coming. So maybe you can save that for a rainy day. Everybody hits that spot. Okay, so just make a quick announcement. Challenge dates. So this is all going to be about Experience By your course. If you are already in EPM, it is similar because, the experience formula is the experience formula. But if you want to work on your next product, or experience product, or just have access to daily coaching, you might want to check that out when you sign up to go there. And I'm going to flip these around and put the Q&A here. And the minimum essential pieces that you must have. Yeah, sure. I will talk about that. So you might call it a fast launch method that Murray and Marisa teach, which is in terms of Experience By, what that looks like is you go through and you create your, and by the way, the workshop did speak to this as well. So you create your bird's eye view. You know what you're going to teach in the whole thing and what you're going to cover in the whole thing, but you don't create the whole thing. You go create your homepage, you add your welcome video and your pre-actions, and then you have probably like your first training in your first module that's set to release immediately. And then you can go ahead and sell it. And that is a minimum viable product. And so if people take a look at a course that's available on your hub and your description of it, and it is for sale or pre-sale, and they like your introductory material, you can actually create the rest of it as you go. So that would be, you know, in terms of our platform, how you would start with a minimum viable product. Make sense? Yeah, because what happens is, and I will tell you, you know, I have some of my students who are like, I could never do that. I don't feel comfortable putting out something until I have all of my scripts and trainings written and recorded and ready for people to have when they sign up. And if that's how you roll, that's totally fine too. But you know, one of the reasons that it's suggested, if that doesn't give you the heebie-jeebies, is so you can validate that people actually want to buy it. You have just enough content in there to get started. And if you put it out there and nobody wants to buy it, then it's time to pivot and see what else you can do. Alrighty, thanks for that reminder. Okay, throw your questions in here. Can I use colors in the pages of my modules and trainings as a background? Donna, if you know CSS, there are, and Rachel's gonna have to like help fact check me on my questions to these. If you know CSS, there are ways that you can do that, but it is not part of the basic setup. Yay, I got thumbs up. Question, in the add course section, the pre-actions, is there any way to make the links clickable? Rachel, can you speak to that one?
Yes, I will pop the help article in the chat right now. What you need to do to make a link clickable in the pre-action is you need to create an HTML link. So there's a help article that tells you how to do that. If you still have trouble with it, just send me an email and I will format the link for you. But I will put in the directions right now.
Okay, thank you.
Nancy, so by default, and I'm sorry if I was confusing, your homepage with your mission statement would be available after people have purchased your course or get access to a beta version. It is not a landing page. Your landing page would be either something you create separately or what they see in your hub. I will say that we have David Cameron Gilkey. I'm always not sure if I say his last name right. So what he does is he has the full course. He duplicates it, and then he takes out everything except the first module. After he duplicates it, he makes that a free course, and then the last action in the training that's available is the upsell to the full course. So there are some creative things there. Yes, Chris, who knows CSS? You might, I think sometimes Murray is able to rent out some people on the team. You might ask him, or gosh, I bet you there's like 1 million people who would be happy to do CSS for you. Do you do the beginning launch on XP if you don't have any students yet? You can. You know, my personal feeling is there's kind of something powerful when you have a place to send people and you feel more confident telling people that you have something for them. I don't know, I think it's kind of easy to get in this conundrum, like I don't have any people, but I don't want to talk to people because I don't have anything to sell them. So I don't want to make anything to sell them because I don't have any people. So I think if you just get your hub listing up there and that minimum part of your course, you do kind of like plant your flag in the sand there and say, okay, now I have a place to send people. is the replay workshop to look at the MVP. It speaks to it. One of the things that I modeled in the workshop was the things that I just told you about. So we went through setting up your hub, setting up your homepage, and then creating your first module and your first training, which is about the amount of content that I just spoke to as a minimum that you could create. Loretta, if you want to collect payment for sign up before anything else, yeah, you can do a pre-sale. Melissa, I'm not sure what's nice, but I'm glad. Kathy, you want me to repeat what? I end up talking so much, it's hard to know. Gyro, apologies if I did not say that right. Oh, problem setting up Stripe. So, you can use, I think there are a couple of different answers for how you can get around using Stripe if you're in a place where you cannot use it. I think you spoke to one, which is you take your payment elsewhere and then you add them. You can definitely add students manually. And then the other is that with the higher level plans, not the $49 plan, you can integrate a different cart with a different payment processor. Thank you, Rachel, for linking that article. Karina, I'm not sure what you're confused about. Be happy to try to help. Mark.
Sorry, can I just comment? It's Karina, that was my question. Confused. It got split up, but I'm not sure. Can I do it verbally? It's actually a couple people got in between my second part. I didn't mean
to. What's your question?
Okay, well, I'm doing EPM. I want to continue with experience
by?
Yeah, with my course. I've got it outlined, my bird's eye view. I know what my content will generally be, but I'm just thinking if I do a beta version, which I'm happy to do, but my confusion is, don't I only have one opportunity for Experienceify to upload my course? Like if I set all the content in, like
that's true.
If I do a beta and I just upload the first module, then I have to do the rest of it myself, correct?
Rachel, I think that's correct, and you've come up with the reason why you might want to wait to use that.
Yeah, that is correct. It's just one time that you send it to us to do the done for you. Okay. Excuse me.
So do you have a suggestion for me? I don't have a lot of tech. Would you suggest before everything shuts down, with the end of February, do I have access to these videos? Do I have support if I pay for the membership and go forward with the course with you guys? Do I have support?
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. We are here by email. We've got the help center with the instructions of how to upload everything, how to put your material in.
Okay.
And you know what, Laura, I'll pop a few help articles in the chat right now that are like the basic steps for how, like if you're starting from scratch and you were going to do your course yourself and you just want to know, well, what do I do? Where do I start? Yeah, there's these articles. It's like step 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so maybe everything. Thank you for your time. Just a final thought. I think what I'll do is I'll make sure I have the whole course done, get you to upload it, and then I'll learn how to tweak it. Does that sound like a viable option for my minimum viable product?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it depending on how comfortable you are with tech, you might just play with it while you have it available right now, and see if you might want to do the minimum viable one yourself and then save your done for you for your next course or the full course, or other
That's
things
cool.
that
That's a great suggestion. Okay. Thank you so much for letting me share and chat. Thanks.
Yeah. I imagine that's a question a couple of other EPM students have as well. And I wanted to mention too that I worked out with Maria's schedule where we're adding in additional calls on in February on Saturdays, because we know that there are a lot of you in this situation. So we will have Saturday morning for me calls, so we can support you as well. And we'll look into having another 3-hour workshop if that's something that you guys need. Because yes, everybody wins when you stay and have a great experience with Experientify and get requested. Isn't the mission statement on the launch page? It is. So the hub page where all your courses show, you're going to put your course description in there, so it would be in there if you put it there. But the part where it shows to everybody all the time, because there's a section for the mission statement, is actually your student's homepage. Donna, Rachel, do you have an article for how to whitelist? Because
No, but I think someone, I think it was Chris, just popped one in the chat.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Which I'm just looking at right now, and it looks great. Got a lot of good info.
CSS necessary for using Canva backgrounds. So like, are you wanting to like tile an image into the background for your Experientify course? Maybe you could clarify that one in the chat. Put the sales page on your website. Good. Chris, thank you. All the course was done. Kathy, do you want to come off of, do you want to unmute yourself and tell me what example I used?
Hi, yeah, I got a couple of answers.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm sorry if I try to just keep going right now and I've got 46 new messages.
No, I know. No, a couple of people were very generous. Thank you.
Wonderful. It's a generous community.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just tried to expand my chat window and I lost my thread. Coach D, I'm glad that you like that. Actually, that David Cameron he makes Experientify set up and do tricks. He pre-sells his coaching programs through Experientify. He has his entire value ladder put up on Experientify. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, Melissa, so I had the whole course built out, duplicated it, and then removed. So let's say there were 5 modules in the course. We removed 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the action for the last training on module 1 was a link to his sales page, and it said, thanks for doing this. I forget what he calls them, if it's like the pre-starter course or the free version of the course. To upgrade to the full version, go here.
Yeah, I understood that. That's what I said nice about. And then the person below me said, I'm confused. And so I was trying to just repost it so that you had context. But it's hard to find out like 30 things down below.
It is. Thank you.
Do you mind if I post the list of the open office stuff in the chat? Is that okay?
Yeah, you're always welcome to post our links. Okay. Does XP have a shopping cart built in, or do you need to get one of your own? Yes. So all plans have a shopping cart built in. For people who are just getting started, it is perfectly like all you need, and super simple to set up. Some of you have more complex scenarios and things that you want to do with it. And so if you're in anything above the $49 plan, you can connect a different cart with Zapier. Like Thread Card is a really popular one. Anything that Zapier connects with, you can use that. Okay. Susan, I'm glad you're finding it easy to upload and work on content. Okay. Sharon, I'm super happy to hear that you feel like the customer support has been great. Yes, I think they're awesome. How can I share a link to show how to add other pages as a schedule in EPM masterclass? Oh, I see. So there are a couple of features in EPM that are custom coded because there's this mad genius who gets to design the EPM site with a couple more bells and whistles. I don't know of a way that that your Experience Bite account can do that yet. But I do know that you can link out to another page, so either like a web page or a Google Doc or a PDF. So like that's what I did in my course. For instance, we had a schedule, and I put the PDF as a download and the pre-actions as like my first training. Craig, glad that the videos were helpful to you. Nancy,
Laura?
yes.
I just wanted to, if I could, just tell you a little bit more because it might help some of the other people on the line. What I was planning to do, I built out a first module that is basically giving people a better understanding of how deep the problem really is. So in effect, it's just to have them understand how much more involved the problem is than they realize. And so it gives them further reason why they need the rest of the training. But I was expecting to take that first module outside of Experientify, and to know that I can build that right in and probably add on a coaching session as well for that free session is it's a much cleaner way to integrate them right in. So I really appreciate you sharing that. That actually helped me a lot. So thank you.
Oh, I'm glad. And yeah, you just mentioned something I hadn't thought of either. I know because people are interested in, upsells, which I know in what you do, that's we aren't talking in as much sales language for, for grief support, obviously, but if somebody needs a personal session with you in order to start applying that stuff, you could, you could add one of those links in there too. So,
well, the ironic thing is it actually ends up being an upsell, but in a different way.
Yeah.
Because it's the upsell to convince them that there is training and coaching available, which a lot of them don't buy into now. Yeah. So if I can put them in something free and have them live that, then now it's not just by the words, they get to experience it as well, which should be much cleaner for me. So again, thanks.
You're very welcome. Rachel, can you answer the question about what the last day is? I think it's for the next year. You have an entire year to
done
claim
for
you're done for
you.
you.
It's February 1st, 2022. So you've got some time.
Tammy, I will talk to Mari about doing another 3-hour workshop. Since I'm the one who does them, if I volunteer to do that, that should be kind of an easy sell. And yes, I'm sure the subject line in the email will be very obvious. Mari's really good about that. Alrighty. What's that going to address? The hub is not the home page. The hub shows all of your courses. The home page is specific to the one particular course. So if you went to the Live Your Message homepage, you could see all of Marisa's courses. When you're in EPM, you only see the homepage with the mission and the countdown for EPM. And I apologize, Sylvia, I'm assuming that you've been through EPM and you might not have. So if that's not clear, throw in some things. Questions about the slide deck backgrounds. Okay. If that was the Canva question. Got it. Yeah. How do I explain this? So if you're creating a slide deck for a training and you do that in Canva, no, that is not CSS. It's slide decks you could do in Keynote, in PowerPoint, in Google Slides, in Canva. You can do those in a lot of different places and come up with some really nice stuff. Then you're going to download that in a file format and then upload it into Experience by as you're training, especially if you make it a video. And CSS actually refers to kind of the rules that govern your site. So by default, like my Experience by classes have a white background on them. If you wanted them to have a green background, you could go into the CSS and change all of that there. But it's basically kind of customizing the site. And so it's an ability that we give people who have the advanced skills or access to some of the advanced skills to do if they really want something that's different from the out of the box Experience by. Okay. You were having a problem with Chrome and Firefox worked better? What do you know? Okay, cool. Melissa, thank you for posting that. Is there a way to move a lesson from one module to another in the same course? I believe you just drag and drop them, Rachel. Is that correct?
Laura, did you ask me something? I was
I
reading the
did,
chat.
yeah.
Sorry.
Sharon's question is there a way to move a lesson from one module to another in the same course? And I believe you just drag and drop it.
No, not at this time, but coming soon.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Nancy, can you have 4 goals? Yes. You are the master of your own goals. Oh, I'm sorry. I lied. I was thinking of actions. You can have as many actions as you want. The goals are set at 3. I don't know of a way to modify that. Except if you put some other text around there. But what you might do instead of 4 goals is put things on your XXP track. And yes, this is being recorded. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. Thrive Carts is, I think at least at this time, is still lifetime $500, and a lot of people like it. Because I think a lot of the other carts are a monthly subscription. So with Thrive Cart, at least at this time, it's a one-shot payment, and then you're done. They keep threatening to raise the price, but that might be a way to create urgency. Who knows? Okay, cool. So please share the basic tutorial to sound up your landing and sales pages to promote your product, plus another tutorial to create your training course. Okay, so yeah, that 3-hour training that the link was shared earlier is probably a good place. So Experience-Fi at the moment doesn't have a sales page embedded. We do have the hub that takes you to the order form page. I'm trying to use the terms consistently because I know that gets confusing. So on the hub, they can see the courses that you offer. They click into a course. It takes them to the order form that has a description, and then they can choose to buy and check out. At that point, if you want to use a landing page or a sales page, you might look at some different applications that do that, and then you would just from that page you would put a link over to your hub or your order form. And then but if you're just looking for the order form that's in Experience-Fi, if you look at that 3-hour training, it's in there. Basic steps for starting to create your training course on Experience-Fi. Yeah, I would also look at that 3-hour training. And also, within our Facebook group, or go ahead and email support because we'd like to help people. So Bridget, again, I apologize. I think there are sometimes different ways to say people's names. The $49 plan is
it's really hard. Sorry, Laura, it's really hard to hear you. It's really muffled. It comes in and out. Sometimes when you speak a bit louder, it's really clear, but I'm really straining and missing a lot of your content.
Okay. If I have this right here and I'm really loud, does that help?
That works when you're looking right into it and
okay.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome. The $49 plan will allow you to build and sell your course for sure. That's exactly what it's, if you're just getting started, it's meant to be a really low price point while you're still working on the details. Okay. Step 4. Michael, on how to modify your course pages. If you could email support, we'll get you set up with that. What is it that ends in February 1st? It's probably Experience Product Masterclass, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Yeah, Chrome usually works better. I'm surprised that people are having better luck with Firefox, but whatever works. I think I can explain the extra 125-day free trial for people who are in this last round of Experience Product Masterclass. Part of the bonus was to have access to Experience-Fi from the beginning of the class into February 1st. Is that right? So like normally Experience-Fi
February 28th.
15-day trial.
Through the end of February.
Or 14-day trial, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. That was the February 1st then. Normally it has a 14-day trial, and EPM students got 125 days. But that backdates to when EPM started. So it's not like I signed up last week and now I have 125 days. Everybody does has the option at, if you signed up, you have the option at on February 1st to continue on a paid plan if you want or not. Can you put your other products on my hub? Yeah, I think you can. So you would, set them up, and I mean, you can accomplish that a couple of different ways. You can set up your order form and then use Zapier to connect somewhere else, or you can actually just put the links to your downloads or ebooks in your course shell. I think we've reached the end, and amazingly, it is 6:00 p.m. I think I got caught up. Alrighty, I will. Yeah, if you have concerns about things from EPM, please do contact support at Live Your Message. We're the Experience by team, and we're here to help you with what you're working on now. But if you have questions about what was included with EPM, please do ask them. Alrighty. Any happy thoughts? Is there anybody new who wants to stick around for a tour? I'll hang out for another 5-10 minutes if you need a tour. Are we going to do another office? So these are every 2 weeks. We're going to add in some Saturdays in February. You are very welcome. A tour of course, and Experienceify. Thank you, everybody who's ready to hop back into your life at the moment. And I will stop sharing and pull up one of my courses. So if you are hanging out, you get to go on the tour in just a moment. There's still 47 of you here.
We don't want to leave you.
Goodness sakes. Yeah.
We just love you so much.
Oh, mutual. All righty, I'm gonna pull up my course and get rid of all the other stuff on my desktop. Okay, is there anybody else here who generally has like 40 open browser tabs? You have more? I love it. We can be friends. That's cool. Okay. Come on, Firefox. Lock into. All righty. So, and just I'll go over this for a minute too. For those of you who are coming in, from another one of Marisa's courses, like Experience Product Masterclass, you are going to have a login to Experience-By as a student, and you're going to have one as a coach. We call all our people coaches. So where I'm an admin is my own site, and I have lots of mostly demo courses here because I get lots of nice opportunities to show people how to do this. This is one of my courses. So if you want to see what it looks like from the front end, like what your students will see, that is this piece. So it starts out with a mission because we want everybody focused on their future self vision and what they can accomplish. And somehow I'm fiddling around with mine. My mission got wiped out. Nice. Okay. I got to stop fiddling around with my old courses, or at least I need to duplicate them before I do that. So when this is running live, they will enter my course with a 2-week countdown to create that sense of urgency so that they can prioritize accordingly, because if they have too much time, they will take it. And my goals got wiped out. There. Oh, you know what? I put you in the wrong course. That's why. Everything is like in there. Okay, one more time. Yeah, so this is an introductory video. Actually, if you click on it, it stops being a person with a laptop traveling the world, and it is me welcoming them to the course, letting them know what to expect in the next 2 weeks. And just trying to like make a personal connection with people. And then, so what they are able to see when they first join my course is the pre-actions, which were to join the group and to make a plan for the next 2 weeks, so they would block out time to get it done. And then they could see the next upcoming training, but it wasn't actually available to them at the very beginning. And so this is, you know, if you want to look at, go back to our minimum viable product, this is pretty much what you would create in advance. Would be, you know, your mission, your intro video, your goals, and your pre-actions, and the next training. Yeah, so if you offer a live round and you offer some live calls during them, you might have replays. I did, so my replays are here. You just post the video file after there, and if anybody couldn't make your live call, they can go back and watch it. I think most people really like to have that option, although seldom do they actually go back and watch them, but that's okay. And if you want to see all the trainings once they are posted and available, that's what it looks like, and they can start each one of these. So we can do, you want to see a training page. Most of our lessons, I mean, we really are oriented towards being video based for training. So, you know, media just does a really good job of conveying things, and people kind of come to expect it. And then after they watch my training, so I'm going to give them points just for completing it. Just showing up and completing is a good part of staying in action. And then I want them to actually do the thing that I just trained them to do. And so if they check that off, they get more points. If I were to go back and redo this right now, I would give them far less points for watching the video and still keep my my action step at the 10 points. I was new. What can I say? So then they get to see what's up next. And it might be available to them, or they might not. You can actually set the release times for your next training. So you know, Marie especially likes to drip them out so that people don't see a whole lot of content that they have access to, because they will feel like it's overwhelming. If they can just see like, oh, I just have another 2 to go, and then I can feel like, okay, I can stop and master that and take a breath and then move on to the next one. So that's a tour. There's also bonuses. Aren't showing in mine because I didn't offer them in this course, but if you offer bonuses, they can help. Okay. Tonight's call should be available by about tomorrow. And, oh, thank you for the compliments. How do you set the time when each module gets released? When you are in your modules and trainings, it is one of the settings to choose the release date and time. You can assign them as you wish, Andrea, for the XP points. Murray has some suggestions for that. I tend to stay with the default on that.
Laura, can you hit the drop down arrow? I just wanted to see the options.
Yeah. Immediately on a specific date after X days on an nth day for a specific week. So for instance, for those of you who have been in EPM, they release content every Monday. So that would be nth day.
Okay.
It depends on the because those, I think the growth account, I think you have 4 options. For the first one, you have 3 different options, and then for the other one, the highest one, there's 5.
Oh.
Just so that you know, like that's what it's just right on the Experienceify pricing page. It says that information.
Bye, Denise. Thanks for staying.
So can I ask a question regarding that same thing? So can you put like, can you have it specific to like, they can't get to module 2 until they finish module 1? Or is that not advisable?
That's an interesting one. Are you in our Facebook group?
Yes, you want me to post it there?
I do, because I want to get Murray specifically. I mean, I can tell you, like I have friends who've been in courses like that who were furious because they felt like they paid for the content and couldn't get access to all of it.
I can see that. Like I can see that them thinking that way, yeah.
But you know, I heard this advice one time to only take people who are in life where you want to be. And since Murray's the guy who sold 7 figures
Yeah.
in courses, I would ask him directly.
All right, and then another question with the after X days, does that mean like after X days, like from what point are they counting it? From the purchase date of the course, from the time they got, last time they've logged in? Like, I'm not sure what they mean after X. Oh, you're putting in the number.
Let me go to another course so I'm not messing up.
I appreciate your help.
Yeah, sure. We can play with it. Actually, I'd rather not save any changes because I want to keep it just the way it is. Let's go to these. Oh, you know what? I have to do one that has. It's not going to let me create.
Okay, I didn't think it was going to be that.
Rachel, do you know? I mean, I'd like to.
So sorry, looking at something else again.
That's okay.
What was the question?
What does, when you have the ability to release a training on X days, what does that refer to?
Oh, X days after what? After they joined or purchased the course. So if you join the course on Monday and you want them to get module 2 the next day, then you add a day, and then you want them to get module 3 2 days later. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. Or you can put it like one module, one module a week, let's just say, right? So
Sure.
because within each module there's like mini lessons. So you can do that. But if they buy it, never look at it, and you know, a year later they go on, they'll just have access to everything. And just
Correct.
hopefully they do it in order.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to get my head around that whole concept. But thanks. Sure. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Rachel. Kathy, that's a good option. There was actually a question in the Facebook group today about, you know, what do you do when you want to put things out of order? And Murray was saying it's pretty rare in their EPM experience. that they get asked to unlock everything. And there's some valid cases where people, you know, don't want to wait for you to release things, but they just make it so that you have to ask. Okay, guys. Well, I was happy to spend a little more time with you tonight, and I hope that that was helpful. And everybody thank Rachel for being here and staying, because it's super nice for me in particular. Hey, thank you guys. And we will be back again soon. So keep plugging away, do what you can do, and ask us when you need help. Alrighty, guys. Talk to you later.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Stop sharing.
Thanks a million. See you next time.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Thank you.
Will the next one be in 2 weeks?
I think it's this Saturday.
Oh,
Go ahead and look on that.
The dates are in the chat. If you look back in the chat, because I posted it, so
Oh.
you can just look. Hold on,
Yep.
just bring it up. Next date.
Yeah,
Today is Tuesday, January 26th. Saturday, January 30th, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Special open office hours.
yeah, that's me.
Saturday, January. Yep. We're looking forward to
Thank
having you.
I better run then. I got things to do. I'm going to be a busy girl. All right.
Hey, Laura.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of ManyCam? Okay. Do you use that?
Many what?
ManyCam, ManyCam. Matt and Emily had told me about it during a tech call. That would help. I think that would be, I have it. It's so great because you can open up and have certain screens that you just click to on like I don't know, like on a control board, if you will. Okay. So it just makes it going from one thing to another. And I'm like, oh, it's a lifesaver.
Hey, I just looked it up on Firefox.
Yep, ManyCam. All right.
All right.
See you on Saturday.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. See you again. Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.